Taken this whole don't do as I say approach and I've applied it to leadership, or as I like to call it, bending others to your will. This is not your typical leadership presentation. I know you've heard other leadership speakers, some today, some in your professional past, and some of the garbage that those people come up with, quite frankly, boggles the mind. I mean, we've got treating your employees like equals, listening to other people's opinions, taking responsibility for your failures. I don't want to do this. Do you? I don't think so. So like I said, today is going to be a little bit different. You've been given a lot of advice in your professional life about how to become a better leader. I don't want to give you advice. I'm going to give you permission to do the kinds of things you've wanted to do all along. Because history doesn't remember good leaders, doesn't remember the benevolent. It's the dictators, it's the tyrants that we never forget, which is why I am going to help you unleash your inner tyrant. That is right. Would you like the people you work with to scamper down alternate hallways when they see you coming? Would you like your employees, your coworkers, to hope and pray for your forced retirement or premature death? Then you are at the right place. Everything we talk about can be grouped into one of four major courses of action. This is a program of comprehensive oppression that I like to call the tetrarchy of tyranny. First, create an environment of fear, self-interest, and mistrust. You need to create an appropriate environment, an appropriate tone, all right? After that, trample your underlings, then trample them again. That's my personal favorite. Outsource blame. Some of you might remember that from Uncrapify Your Life. I've expanded that out for this presentation. And last but certainly not least, resisting change. These are the things we talk about in the first part of my presentation. And soon you're going to be an expert at every one of them.
I just thought it was fabulous, and I haven't laughed like that in a long time. So thank you so much for today.
Once you've positioned yourself above the Neanderthals you're forced to share an office with, it's time to move on to the next phase, and that is remaining aloof and above. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the supposed advantages that come from spending time with people, getting to know your employees. Herb Kelleher, for example, Southwest's longtime CEO, and an adherent to this ridiculous philosophy, was famous for occasionally throwing bags on the tarmac with the other baggage handlers. And in 1994, Southwest employees spent $60,000 of their own money to take out a full-page ad in USA Today on Boss's Day to thank him for, among other things, remembering all of their names. That is embarrassing. You don't want to end up like him. People, look at how he laughs. I don't want that for you. But that's exactly what's going to happen to you if this is how you treat people, okay?
Jeff rocked. He's the best speaker ever. You need to hire him. Absolutely. And he tells it like it is, and it is funny.
Fortunately, many of you are probably already very good at avoiding contact with the people beneath you. A 25-year study by Gallup of over 80,000 managers in over 400 companies found that the average total time managers spend talking with their employees about that employee's style and performance is approximately 4 hours per employee per year. Half a day a year spent talking shop with the people who work for you. And that's great. It's hardly any time at all. So the next time you can, think about how much time you spend talking about work with the people who work for you. Not the work they have to do. You talk about that all the time. But how they do that work, and more importantly, how they feel about how they do that work. If you're at this 4-hour-a-year average, keep on keeping on. You figured it out. Your employees are like the parts of a car. You need them, but you don't need to know anything about them, okay? You just get in and drive, right? You do what you do, it does what it does. I don't know how my car works, and I don't even care until it breaks. And then what do you do with the broken car/employee? You get rid of it, and you get yourself a new one. That's exactly right. Now we're going to get to actively oppressing and demoralizing the people that you work with. Again, trample your underlings, then trample them again. Like I said before, lots of ideas here. We don't have time for all of them, but I'm going to share just a couple with you. One of my favorites, talk more than you listen. It's an excellent way to let people know how little you care about what they think, and it's also like the easiest thing in the world to do. For example, sir, how do you feel that this showcase has gone so far? I've had an excellent time myself. I got to hear a lot of interesting people. It's a lovely venue. I'm from Central Illinois, so my family lives in Bloomington. I get to see them after today. I mean, it's wonderful. Anyway, what are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do? Do you play golf? I don't play golf. My brother plays golf. He's like a scratch player. I shoot like a 130. I'm horrible. No joke. Last time I played golf, I honestly hit a goose with the ball. Drove the ball right into a goose. Most people go for an eagle. I got a goose. Anyway, what do you think we could do about healthcare? How would you fix healthcare in America? See, I want you to answer. That's the other nice thing about talking more than you listen. He doesn't know if I want him to talk or shut up. I've got him off balance. I wonder, one idea you have that you think might improve the healthcare situation in America. You know, so what I think we could do, I think all we need to do is take all the people who don't have insurance and put them in prison, because there's health coverage in prison. You know, it's a weird system, people, but it's what we've got. So let's just pretend I don't have insurance and I need to go to prison to get healed. You know what I'm going to do? Aggravated battery. And let me tell you why. It's a 2-year sentence and you can fix most things in 2 years, but here's the really important point. There's already a ton of people I want to beat the crap out of. So it's not even really a punishment, you know? It's like I have my cake and eat it too. It's wonderful. I'll go to court and tell the whole truth. Why did you assault this man? Because he's a jerk and I have polyps. So take me away, you know? Do you see what I've done here, people? I have crushed this man's desire to offer his opinion. It's easy to do. I leveraged my positional authority. I'm supposed to be talking. I've got the stage. Your attention is on me. I have the microphone. I've used that to my advantage. But more importantly, most people, just like this gentleman, are too nice to let you know when you're being rude. You're not going to stand up and shout at me and walk out of here, because that's not how you were raised. And I know how to use that against you. The purpose of this presentation, like I said, is to help you become a better leader by teaching you in part how to be a really super bad one. Because on the one hand, I think it's important to know what you should do. I think it's also important to know what you shouldn't do. It allows me to be a little more entertaining than I might be with a more straightforward approach. And my basic goal here is to provide you all the takeaways of a more maybe traditional presentation, while all the entertainment value of a comedy show. Because as far as I'm concerned, improving your leadership and improving your business doesn't have to be boring. If you had to distill this presentation into a single sentence, it would be this. Where is your loyalty? Is it to yourself or is it to your company? And by company, I do not mean the building you work in or the products or services that you sell. That is your business. And very, very few people are loyal to a business. By company, I mean the people who make your business into a living thing. Your superiors, subordinates, colleagues, coworkers, customers, everyone's families. Where's your loyalty? The people I highlight in this presentation as tyrants, Al Dunlap, Alan Schwartz from Bear Stearns, Jeffrey Skilling, and several others, were loyal to themselves and to nobody else. But if there's any part of you that actually cares about the people around you, the people that you work with and for, then you will work to create an environment where they feel free to speak, to share their thoughts and ideas, to challenge you when they think there might be a better way. Leadership is communication. Everything every leadership speaker talks about deals directly with how well or poorly you communicate with others and allow them to communicate with you.
I hire speakers every year, and you are the funniest and sincere, and I laugh the entire time, and I've not done that.
Me either in a long time, so it was so perfect.
Can't go wrong with Jeff.
Definitely not.
A tyrant is never happy. Things could always be better, and you need to communicate your constant disapproval at every opportunity. Now, fortunately, we have a formula to follow here. Some of you might be familiar with the work of John Gottman, a psychology professor at the University of Washington, who in 1995 published a book called Why Marriages Succeed or Fail. In this book, he argues that the ideal ratio of positive to negative communication is approximately 5-to-1. In other words, for every critical, demeaning, constructive, or imperfect thing you're going to say to somebody, you will eventually need to say 5 nice things to offset it. To test this hypothesis, Gottman interviewed 700 married couples. They weren't his patients, just randomly selected 700 couples for 15 minutes apiece. Wrote down the number of positive interactions, number of negative interactions, and then using only this 15 minutes of familiarity and this 5-to-1 hypothesis, predicted how many of these couples are going to stay married, how many are going to get divorced. 10 years later, interviews the same couples. Turns out that his predictions were right 94% of the time. So this 5-to-1 ratio, probably a very good one to use to gauge the health of your personal and professional relationships. So a good leader, for example, don't know why you'd want to be one, but if you do, here's maybe how you'd have a conversation. Excellent work on the Parker project. You came in at deadline, you met the budget, and your presentation skills have really improved since last time. Next time, I need you to communicate more regularly with me. I did not always feel like I knew where we stood here. Overall, though, very well done. You can see the 5-to-1 ratio here. You definitely heard the criticism, but it doesn't really feel too heavy. A tyrant, on the other hand, is going to opt for the compliment sandwich. This is a 2-to-1 ratio of positive to negative that might serve to convince you that you're being more complimentary than critical, but which is really going to only convince your employees that the bookended compliments, the bread of the sandwich, the crap you sometimes throw away, is your cover for the purpose of it, which is the juicy, succulent chicken tender of criticism right there in the middle. Now this can actually be a lot of fun, and I want you to see how much fun this can be, okay? I want you to turn to the person you're sitting next to. This will be very painless, I promise. You can do this. Turn to them, look them in the eyes, and repeat after me. You look great today. I hate you and wish we'd never met. I like your shoes. Yeah. Now, which one of those gave you the most pleasure, huh? Which one are you going to remember when you walk out of here?